So what I'm going to do for you just now is give you a little bit of an overview of the tumbling process that I use on the titanium. I think I've covered it before, but it can't hurt to cover it again. I'll also, later on in the video, talk a little bit about what I'm doing here in New Zealand. So this is the main tumbler here. It's a centrifugal tumbler. So it's got 4 barrels in here, and they sort of all rotate on a bigger drum. Kind of like a Ferris wheel. You know, a Ferris wheel in the fairground has all those sort of pods that go around the main wheel. It's like this, but only 4 pods. Now what goes in these pods are these. So these are the barrels, hexagonal or octagonal barrels. I'll let you see in there. That rubber in there is a sort of very, very hard wearing rubber. I mean, it doesn't even seem to wear away at all. I mean, we've done, I don't know how many hundreds and hundreds of hours in these, and you know, they're like new. It's absolutely amazing. So what goes in here is various types of media. We have ceramic, plastic, porcelain. I'm sure there's 1 or 2 more that I'm missing. Well, there's different types of ceramic, different types of porcelain, different types of plastic. So here's, I'll just show you. I'll just do a skim and just show you. It's easier that way. And here's some more media down here. The tumbling process is actually pretty easy. What happens is we fill up a barrel with, let's say, ceramic, and then we fill it up with water, and then we put a bunch of titanium stuff in there. The lid then goes on, like so. We then have a little sort of clamping mechanism that goes on after that, so that holds the lid on. And then that barrel goes in the tumbler, in the centrifugal tumbler, and we can't just put 1 in, we can put 2 in or 4 in, because they've got to oppose each other, otherwise it would be completely unbalanced. And the machine basically runs. Now there is an unbelievable amount of variables, like the type of media, how much you put in, how much burnishing fluid or powder or whatever you put in, that helps stop the media getting slimy and other things like that, and helps the metal get shinier. There's the speed you put it in there for, the time you put it in there for. Do you take it out and clean the water after a period of time? After the ceramic, do you use plastic, or do you just go straight to plastic? There is like just a mind-boggling amount of combinations that can be done, and that is why I currently still test and test and test. I even did a video recently on just one of the tests I did, one of the split tests for one product. So yeah, that gives you a quick overview. Definitely not comprehensive, but at least it gives you an idea of what I mean when I say I'm doing tumbling today, or that kind of thing. I'd like to film outside right now, but it is extremely windy. Here's an example. So yeah, that should give you an idea. In fact, I'm going to close the door because there are cars going past that make it even noisier. So today, I was dropping off my son for the weekend. I had him for this weekend, him and his cousin. Driving back down just now, it's a 3-hour drive. It's pretty heavy going. It's not like a nice motorway drive, it's windy like you cannot imagine. So gonna head back, gonna do a bunch of work. I have unfortunately lost my the person who helps me do the packing for a few weeks. She's away on holiday, so I've got to do that myself. I've got to do email customer support, like more of it than I usually do. I do certain bits of it, but I've got to do the sort of the main parts of it now. So those are what my evenings are going to consist of for a little while. I really don't have too much for you today because, you know, spending time with my son, and him and his cousin driving him up, coming back down. Like, this is the time is now something like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and my day's just disappeared. However, what I'd like to talk about very quickly is just what the hell I'm doing in New Zealand. Obviously, you can tell by my accent I'm from Scotland, or hopefully you can tell. And so the reason I am in New Zealand is basically because of my son. He's nearly 7 years old. I met a girl in Scotland who was from New Zealand 8 years ago. You can see how the maths ties in just now, or see how it's going to tie in. We were on and off kind of relationship wise, entirely my fault. I had no idea what I was doing, still have no idea what I'm doing, but getting there slowly. She came back to New Zealand, had her son, we kept in contact on and off, and I came to see my son when he was about 3.5 months old. That was about six years ago now, 6.5 years ago. I then came a year later for another month, I came a year later for another month, and then 4 months the year after that, and then the year after that I came for 4 years, something like that. I've been here 4 years now in New Zealand, and that's my sole purpose for being in New Zealand, is to be part of my son's life. It's working really well. His mother and I get on really well. She's as a partner, and they live, like I said, 3 hours up the coast, and things are going really well, and that's like the main thing. Like what I talked to you about, this YouTube thing, the coaching industry is making titanium, to be honest, that is a side part of my life. Like it's like the second most major part. Like the major part is being here with my son, making sure I don't screw him up, and I'm not sort of an absentee father and that kind of thing. Like there was never a decision to make. I never had to decide to be part of his life. It's just what you do, I know how important a dad is to a son especially. So that's really the only reason I'm in New Zealand. May sound harsh, but that's what it is. To be honest, if I really could choose where I'd live right now, I think I'd probably be living in the USA. Now, I don't know if that's just because living in New Zealand, you're limited with what's available, to purchase, to books wise, things like that, what you have access to, the market selling. I mean, I sell hardly anything in New Zealand. It all goes overseas, to all the other countries of the world. Whereas America, it seems like you've got everything, just everything, and that sort of excites me. But maybe it's just because I've been living with sort of in New Zealand, and there really isn't a lot here when you need it, especially when you're doing business, machine wise. All the equipment I have, all has to be imported, every bit of it. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that.